So I recently watched Thunderbolts, and I have some thoughts. Audience reactions have been saying that the MCU is back, the post-credits scene is super important and builds towards Doomsday for the first time, and that this movie actually has a really powerful message. So I was reading all this, and I was kind of excited, on top of the fact that we finally got to see John Walker again, and he's my favorite character of the group. So I went in with some expectations, and I came out with those expectations not really being met. I think that this movie does some good, and I think that it does some not so good, but I don't think it does anything bad. Let me explain. I'm going to start off spoiler-free to talk about what I liked. I think the premise of the movie is very fun. Sending a bunch of anti-heroes who work for Valentina into a room to kill each other is a really fun premise, and it's probably my favorite scene of the movie. I like how each character's skills and powers are highlighted in various ways, minus Alexi, but who cares. The movie actually made me care about characters I never thought I'd like. When Black Widow came out, I remember watching it and hating it. I'll touch on that more when I do my big MCU retrospective next year, but I really didn't like that. Then, Yelena came back in Hawkeye, and I didn't really care, because I didn't care about her in Black Widow. But this movie makes her a character, it makes her relatable, it gives her an arc, and it's compelling. You can tell that the movie actually did choose its cast based on what it wanted to say, and for that, I will give it props. And for what it's worth, it does handle itself in a very mature way. The message isn't undercut by jokes, it has something that it wants to say, and it goes out of its way to say it, even if it's shoved down your throat. I also really liked Bob. Lewis Pullman did a great job. He was easily my favorite character in the movie, and I can't wait to see more of him. He was immediately endearing. The more you learn about him, the more you feel bad for him, and his role in the story was also compelling. And for the first time since she was introduced in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I actually started to like Valentina. Given I haven't watched Black Panther 2, and I hear that she's actually a bigger part of that, so I don't know what she was like there, but this movie she was very fun, and I really started to like her as a character. Hey guys, just popping in the edit to say that I do also like the part of Thunderbolts where the team is actively saving people from the destruction that the Void is causing. It's something that I feel is lost in a lot of superhero media now, which is just the heroes actually saving people. It's something that Marvel suffers from a lot more now because they think that they have to keep upping the stakes, so the heroes are more focused on stopping these giant world-ending events instead of saving people. And so I do really appreciate that Thunderbolts has scenes of the heroes saving people. But now, I don't have much else I can say without talking about spoilers, so here's your warning. Click off now. 3, 2, 1, here we go. I have the same problems with this movie as I do with the first Guardians movie, which is that it chooses one or two characters to focus on, and the rest don't really get anything at all. The stars of the show here are Yelena and Bob, and like I was saying before, the movie does a great job at making me like them, but the other characters are only good for me because I like them from other things. Walker was my favorite character going into this, so of course seeing him again was great, but he didn't get that much substance here. My other problem with this, and the first Guardians movie, is that I feel like the movie doesn't do enough to develop the group into a team. They show up at the compound, they try to kill each other, and then they have to work together to escape. Then Bucky captures them, and all of a sudden, they're a team. Time for the emotional climax! There are moments sprinkled here and there of empathy, but it's not between all of them, and it's not enough. When Bucky casually says that Walker's family left him, Yelena looks at him, and Walker has this expression of, like, despair and understanding and being vulnerable. And Yelena sees that his life is just as bad as any of theirs. And that is a moment where Yelena starts to understand him and recognize the pain and loneliness he feels too. And that's what I want more of, because that's the central message of the film. Bucky and Yelena are both soldiers who did terrible things against their will. He has worked so hard to move past that part of his life. He is in a very special position to empathize and try to help her. But they don't talk about it. Actually, apart from the scene where she and the rest of the team try to tell Bucky about Bob, I don't think Bucky and Yelena even speak to each other. The movie begins with Yelena ranting about how lonely and empty she feels, and then very little happens regarding that, and then she gets a pep talk from Alexei. It's a nice talk, but it's very on the nose, because it's really just Yelena saying she hates herself for the things she's done and she has nothing in her life other than self-harm, before Alexei says, "I don't see your mistakes, I see the wonderful person you are." And then the climax of the film is the entire team extending that empathy to Bob. But it's not earned, because nobody other than Yelena gets that message, and nobody other than her has much meaningful conversations with Bob or any other member of the team. So that's where the movie falls flat to me. I heard that in an earlier draft, Taskmaster and Ghost were supposed to have a plot line where Taskmaster, being so damaged after the events of Black Widow and Budapest, needs to constantly remind herself of things, and Ava was going to take that role, and that would have been amazing, because it would have shown those two people actually getting to know each other and learning about each other's struggles, and that is what the movie needed more of. Also, one last thing that I want to talk about is the post-credits scene and the asterisk reveal. So the movie ends with Valentina spinning the entire situation to her favor by revealing the team as the new Avengers, which I don't have a problem with. It's the most obvious use of the asterisk. Then, in the post-credits scene, Bucky comments on how Sam is putting together an Avengers team, off-screen by the way, and how there's some space thing going on, which happens to be the Fantastic Four arriving on the main Earth. So everyone is saying that this is finally tying together the projects and building towards Doomsday. And while, yes, that is true, I don't feel hyped by it. I think that revealing the Thunderbolts as the new Avengers is a great ending, and it now makes sense as to why this entire team is in Doomsday. So I feel like that does a great job at world building and leading into Doomsday. But then the post-credits scene shows the Fantastic Four ship, and that's it. It spoils the Fantastic Four ending, because if they're not staying on their world, it's 100% getting destroyed. I saw a review of the movie that said it's a return to form because it's teasing the next project, and yeah, I can see that much, but I don't like it here because it's not doing much. Like, yes, it's teasing Doomsday, it's teasing Fantastic Four, but we know the next movie is Fantastic Four, and we know that they're all in Doomsday. So wow, whoop-de-doo, they're on the main Earth. I would have loved to experience that when the movie comes out in 2 months. In the earliest post-credit scenes, they introduce an idea that gets explored in the following movies. Thor 1 teases the Tesseract, which is then a main part in Cap 1 and the Avengers. If the credits scenes there were like the Thunderbolts one, it would go like this. You go to watch Thor, and before that movie starts, a trailer for Captain America plays. Then, the post-credit scene of Thor is S.H.I.E.L.D. pulling Cap's frozen body from the plane wreckage. It's like, yeah, Captain America is next. We know that already. Let's get introduced to an idea that we're going to develop, or at least tease something that's going to happen in the next movie, like Ant-Man's post-credit scene teasing his involvement in Civil War. Anyways, I know this is a negative video, but I did like Thunderbolts. I just think people are too quick to jump onto the MCU is back bandwagon when something good comes out of it. Was Thunderbolts good? Yeah, it was enjoyable. It has heart, a message, and I can get all that from watching it. But it could have been better. And I'm only making this because I don't really like seeing everyone I know glaze it and say that it's the best thing the MCU has made since Endgame. I'll go more in depth about this movie when I get to it in my MCU retrospective, as by then the movie will be out on digital and I can go more in depth. For now, I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of Thunderbolts or the new Avengers in the comments, and subscribe for more content coming soon. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye!